Ready? All right, so let's see here. Guys can all see the screen.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Had a good week? You had a good week, sis?
Sorry?
I was asking if you had a good week.
Oh, yes, we had a blessed week. Thank God, yes.
All praises.
I hope you guys had a good week also.
Yeah, we did. It was awesome. A good. Let's see here. All right, so we're gonna start up. Welcome to everybody watching on the live stream on Facebook and the people that will watch later and on the various uh social media platforms. Um, Today, as usual, we're going to get into the word of the Most High from the perspective of the Israelite, who the Bible tells you is your real teacher, man. The Israelite priest is the only one qualified to teach you the words of Yahawah. And that is pursuant to Psalm 147, verse 19 and 20, where he says, I show my word to Jacob, my statutes and judgments to Israel. I have not dealt so with any nation. As for my judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye Yahawah, right? And that's also pursuant to John 4, verse 22 to 24, that says, you worship, you know not what you worship. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews. All right. So in order to get salvation, you must get it from a Jew. And we're not talking about the Jewish, because in Revelation 2 and 9 and Revelation 3 and 9, the Most High tells you that the real Jew is poor. And then he also says there is a person or people that are going to pretend to be Jews, but they are not. But indeed, they are the synagogue of Satan. And we know who worships in synagogues. We know who's known for funding essentially all evil on the earth. We know who's gotten caught transporting children through synagogues, man. All right, so we are here as the children of Israel, and I am here as a true priest of the Most High to teach you the truth about salvation that you have not learned from any of your religions or institutions, right? So with that, last week we were looking at Wisdom of Solomon, chapter, I think we started in chapter 15, or we may have started in chapter 16. Don't quite remember. In any regard, um, we're going to continue our look at the wisdom of Solomon, going all the way up to the end of the book, right? Because here we get the another account of the book of Exodus, and we're able to learn many secrets of the Exodus account or the Exodus historical events from this particular account. So we'll continue reading through today. We'll get as far as we can, and then we'll continue in next week's service, Lord willing, right? So with that being said, we're going to start at verse 29 here, and then we're going to go to the next chapter and split up the readings. Um, Before we do that, who do I have for reading? How many readers do I have?
I can read.
Okay, that's one. And
Yes.
okay, go ahead. Was that you, Ben?
Yeah, Ruth can read as well.
All right, so we got at least four of us. All right. All right, all praise to the Most High. So reading from verse 29, it says, For the hope of the unthankful shall melt away as the winter's hoarfrost, and shall run away as unprofitable water, right? And of course, this is at the end of the Most High describing how he fed the Israelites with manna um, uh, 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 even as the Egyptians were starving to death, man, right? And this is very important because he tells you the hope of the unthankful shall melt away. What is the hope of the unthankful? Well, the unthankful hope in mostly preparation, man, right? So they'll store up goods and they'll store up grain and um, certain meats and flour and all these things, corn, and they'll store up these things, oil, wine, medicine, right? They'll store up all of these things in the name of preparation, right? Thinking that in the day of calamity, they will be saved by these preparations. But the Most High is telling you these preparations that the heathen make, the ungodly make, are will come to nothing. Okay? Their hope is gonna melt away. So one hope's preparation, another hope, which is the main hope of the Edomite, the so-called Caucasian, the oppressor, is that their houses would continue forever. This hope shall also melt away, right? Let me bring that out.
Oh, you forgot the trumpet.
Thank you. We'll pick it up at the end. Okay?
Oh, all
Thank you.
right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, this is Psalm 49 and verse 11. Let me go to the chapter. For what do I want? I'll go from one. Hear this, all ye people. Give ear, all you inhabitants of the world, both low and high, rich and poor together. My mouth shall speak of wisdom, and the meditation of my heart shall be of understanding. Right? I will incline my ear to a parable. I will open my dark saying upon the harp. Okay, this is David speaking. Wherefore should I fear in the days of evil? So David is like, why should I fear in the days of evil? When the iniquity of my heels shall compass me about. Now, what people don't realize, many people don't realize, is that David was a prophet. David actually saw the future, man, right? Um, and we know this because when we read his Psalms that the Christian church and these institutions tell you are just prayers, we find many actual prophecies within the book of Psalms. All right. So it says, wherefore should I fear in the days of evil? Remember, David had no days of evil. David slew all his enemies and made peace for his son Solomon, man. Right? Now, you know, do you want to count when he was on the run from Saul as days of evil and he saw and that sort of thing? Oh, sure, you can go ahead and do that. But that's really not what this is talking about. This is talking about the days of evil of the children of Israel, because David conquered all his enemies, including Saul, right? Saul was trying to kill him, and he had at least two opportunities to actually kill Saul, and he didn't do it. Instead, he respected that the Most High had what's the word I'm looking for? The Most High had anointed Saul, and so he respected the anointed of the Most High. Okay. In any case, he's referring to the whole nation in this verse. When you understand the precepts, you know this. In any case, wherefore should I fear in the days of evil, asked David, when the iniquity of my heels shall compass me about? All right. They that trust in their wealth and boast themselves in the multitude of their riches. Watch this. None of them can by any means redeem his brother, nor give to Yahawah a ransom for him, man. Okay? So remember, we're looking at the Exodus account from a different perspective, right? and getting many of the secrets, right? From the perspective of Solomon, we're getting this account. And we're seeing here that pardon me, the point I want to make there, oh yeah, we're seeing that Solomon is letting you know that those that store up, um, those that have their hope in the flesh are going to perish. Echoing what um, his father David said in this psalm. Basically, those that have their hope in the flesh shall also perish. I'll read from 6 again. He says, they that trust in their wealth and boast themselves in the multitude of their riches, right? People like America, people like certain Israelites, people like these Edomites, man. They trust in wealth. They boast themselves in the multitude of their riches. Okay? They tell you what kind of watch they have, what kind of car they drive in, where their house is, how much it costs, about their private jets, about all the women that they sleep with, right? They boast themselves in the multitude of their riches and the things that they can afford through these particular riches. But the Most High said, not a single one of them can redeem his brother, nor give to Yahawah a ransom for him. So your money come to nothing when it comes to the Most High. And this is a good precept here, if you want to note it in your Bible, for Deuteronomy 28:68, where it says, no man shall buy him. The word is actually redeem. It's the same word here. Then it goes on and says, for the redemption of their soul is precious, and it ceaseth forever. That he should still live forever and not see corruption. For he seeth that wise men die, likewise the fool, and the brutish person perish and leave their wealth to others. These rich people, here's what the Most High tells you about them, and this was my point. Their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. Okay? So when we go back to Wisdom of Solomon, the Most High tells you the hope of the unthankful shall melt away as the winter's hoarfrost. Which hope? This hope to continue their houses forever. Right? Who has called their lands after their own names and gone from place to place establishing houses? It's the Edomite. The Edomite has taken America by deceit and murder and called it America, man. Right? After who? Amerigo Vespucci. Right? After who? We're going to see here. The continent of America is named after Italian explorer or read spiritually Edomite explorer Amerigo Vespucci. In 1507, German cartographers Martin Walder-Simula and Matthias Ringman used the Latinized version of his first name, America, on a world map to denote the new continent. Okay? This was the first recorded use of the name for the landmass, which was previously unknown to Europeans. Okay? Africa is the same thing. right? Leoscipius Africanus is the namesake of Africa, man, right? And this is well hidden. When you look up who's Africa named after, they give you one runaround, but it's another Edomite. So now when Israelites say they're African American, that's not real. You're naming yourself after two of your oppressors when you're an Israelite, right? This is why you have places both in Europe and America and Canada. In Europe, America, Canada, and many places in the Caribbean, they all share the same names, right? You have bagatelle in St. Lucia. That's a French word for a certain food, okay? Right? You have I'm trying to think of one specifically. I'm drawing a blank right now on the St. Lucian ones. Castries. There's more than one Castries in the world, right? And they're under the Edomite Empire, right? So they'll use the same names for in these various places that they conquer. So this is who David was talking about when he said, "The inner thought is that the houses shall continue forever, and the dwelling place to all generations. They call their lands after their own names, man." This is why Europe is called Europe. Europe is not Europe. That's Japheth's land. Right? Let's see what we can find on Europe. Okay. So the continent of Europe is named after the Phoenician princess Europa. In Greek mythology, she was abducted by Zeus, who transformed himself into a bull and carried to Crete. The story of Europa and Zeus is a popular subject in Greek art and literature. There you go. Yahawah says this is the land of the Japhites, but Esau says no, this is Europe. Okay. Right? Zeus abducted her, and so on and so forth. We shall call this land Europe. Let's go back to Wisdom of Solomon here. So these are two of the hopes of the unthankful, that preparation is going to save them, and that their houses shall continue forever. Even America, man. America thinks America is going to continue forever, and Donald Trump is doing his best to make America continue forever. But every geopolitical analyst tells you America is on its way out. Now that America's on its way out, what's happening? Another Edomite nation is heading up what he hopes to be the hegemony, which is the leadership of the world. BRICS. So one Edomite fall and another Edomite is trying to rise. Because Edom believe that it's Esau's kingdom that will last forever upon earth. But it will not be so. As we read in 2nd Ezra, the 11th chapter, right? Oh, well, in the book of 2nd Ezra, yeah, as we read in 2nd Ezra, the 11th chapter, the lion shall destroy the eagle. The lion being Yahawashi, the true black Messiah. And the rulership of the world shall be returned to its rightful rulers, who the Most High made the world for, pursuant to 2nd Ezra 6, verse 54 on down. Right? Which is the Israelite. So these Edomites are not going to keep ruling. They will destroy one another, and then our prince will destroy them, along with us at his side, when he transforms us into invincible spirit beings, right? And I have teachings on all these things. If you want more details, let me know in the comments, and I'll post the videos. So it says, therefore, the hope of the unthankful shall melt away as the winters or frost, and shall run away as unprofitable water. So anybody working against the Most High, man, you're not gonna make it. Anybody unwilling to humble themselves before the Most High, they're not gonna make it. Their soul shall dwell in torments, right? At the establishment of the Most High's kingdom, or the closing of their eyes before it is established very soon. How do we know it's very soon? Because your grandmother and your grandmother been saying it's very soon. Well, it's because we have fulfilled Revelation chapter 11 from verse 8 to verse 10. Whereas, you can add that with Ezekiel, I believe it's the 37th chapter, the Valley of the Dry Bones, which tells you that the children of Israel, and add that with Jeremiah 17, verse 4, 1 to 4, actually, where the Most High tells you that the children of Israel would forget themselves in Jeremiah. Then he tells you in Revelation 11 from 8 on down that they would remember who they were, and that when they did, the entire world would stand in fear. And after that, Yahawashi returns. That's what happens after the children of Israel remember who they are. The next step is the return of the Messiah, which has to happen after the Third World War. And as you guys can see, the Third World War is already happening. It's just going to heat up until the fire engulfs the entire world. So we're in the time with beyond the shadow of a doubt. So in these times, a man ought to serve Yahawah for life, even life eternal, of course, excluding the oppressor, for the Most High has reserved him unto destruction, because he knows he's a snake and he will not behold the Most High's face. He's just going to pretend, right? All praises. So, that being said, we're going to go to chapter 17. Hopefully we can get through this chapter. And that should be it. We'll see, right? We got about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. How many verses we got here? 21. All right. So let's do 7 verses. Actually, let's do what is that? 5 verses each, and I'll do 6. Right. So Ben, go ahead. And take your time, because I may stop you as you're reading. Go ahead, Ben.
For great are thy judgments, and cannot be expressed. Therefore unnurtured souls have erred.
Pause. So see, I just told you guys why the Most High has excluded the oppressor from salvation. And I have entire teachings on this, okay? Where you can take the study notes and go through it yourself if you don't believe me, right? I just spoke about this because this is a great judgment. This is a major pain point in the Israelite community. When you tell them that the Edomite cannot be saved, and this is amongst people who claim to be walking in the truth. They just can't understand that the Most High has put by the oppressor. The Most High, who knows all things, he has said the oppressor has no chance. But somehow this makes Yahawah unwise or unfair. Well, this tells you the Most High's judgments are great, man. Hey, remember, the Most High has to make righteous judgment over all the earth for all time. He made the earth. Are you wiser than he? Right? The brother says the Most High's judgments cannot be expressed. In fact, he didn't even have to explain anything to you, but he gave you an inkling of knowledge as to why certain judgments occur. But you're not going to understand every judgment, right? You want to understand why this Israelite child died or that Israelite child died. You know it's, if you're wise, you know it's because of sin. But specifically why? Like, you know, how does the death of this so-called innocent child, um, how is that part of the working out of good for all those that love Yahawah? You can't answer these questions because the judgments of the Most High are too great. He has to judge all things in righteousness, right? And he tells you who's erred, right? Unnurtured souls. You can begin to understand if you have wisdom, okay, the Most High work out everything for the good of those that love him. So everything happening in the world is for the good of the few who love the Most High, the gold. That's all he cares about. The rest of these people, he tell you, it would be better if they had not even been born. So if you're wise, if you know the scriptures and you believe the Most High, right, you do not err in your mind because you understand. But an unnurtured soul says, why, God? Why you have to kill the innocent? Help the people in Gaza. Stop the war. We just want peace. That's what the unnurtured soul says, man. The unnurtured soul says, Yahawah is wicked, man. And I heard that out of an Israelite mouth. Not a one walking in the truth. By blood said, Yahawah is wicked, man. God is wicked. My heart kind of skipped for a minute because I'm like, wow, look how people kill themselves and don't even know, right? You've erred so far in your mind, you're able to call the creator of the universe wicked. You're insane. You've lost it, you know. Anyway, read on.
For when unrighteous men thought to oppress the holy nation, they being shut in their houses, the prisoners of darkness, and fettered with the bonds of a long night, lay there exiled from the eternal providence.
Pause. So again, remember we're reading the account of Exodus, the account of the Exodus. So he's calling the Egyptians that oppressed the Israelites, right? This is who he's referring to when he calls them, when he says unrighteous men. He said when they thought to oppress the Most High holy people, Yahawah shut them up in their houses. By what? Darkening their vision or atmosphere that they couldn't see a damn thing, right? And he exiled them from the favor of the Most High, right? And this is kind of mirroring what's happening today, because the unrighteous men have oppressed the Most High's holy nation, and we know exactly who has oppressed the Negro. These are the unrighteous men of these times. No wonder the Most High calls this place spiritual Egypt. We're reading about Egypt, and in spiritual Egypt, the same oppression, man. In fact, worse than before, right? Pursuant to Second Ezra's the 11th chapter, man. You know, I believe from 37 on down, you can go up from probably about 30. He tells you the eagle ruled the world with much wicked oppression above all that came before them, man. You know. So the same way these unrighteous men oppressed us, our ancestors, in that time, and they paid with darkness, the same thing is going to happen again. In fact, we can see it already happening. They have oppressed us, and now the Most High is darkening their nation. Their understanding is darkened, right? The understanding of their leadership, most importantly, is darkened. He has removed the wise men from Edom, and he has put a bridle in their mouth to bring them to war. I gotta bring that out. This is Isaiah 30. Behold, the name of Yahawah comes from afar. Oh my gosh, I can't stand this thing. 28. I don't like the Berean translation. They have a few good parts, but generally I find the language very flat. In any case, and his breath, behold from 27, the name of Yahawah cometh from far, burning with his anger, man, and the burden thereof is heavy, man. His lips are full of indignation, and his tongue as a devouring fire. All right. And his breath as an overflowing stream shall reach to the midst of the neck, to sift the nations with the sieve of vanity. This is one of my favorite parts of scripture, man. It tells you how the Most High sifts the nations of the world. Vanity, man. Money, power, respect. So-called money, power, respect. Looks, youth, sexiness, sex, man. Right? Partying, accolades, things that mean nothing, man. That's what the Most High uses to sift the nations of the world. So a man will think he's better than another because of letters after his name, but his entire life is in vain. Right? Anyway, that's the point. And there shall be a bridle in the jaws of the people, causing them to err, man. Okay? There shall be a bridle in the jaws of the people, causing them to err. And if you go to Isaiah 45, who does all these works? Yahawah, man. All good and evil is done by him. So he put the bridle in the mouth of the people and caused them to err. I form the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. I, Yahawah, do all these things. So the Most High has brought darkness upon America, man. And America shall slowly be darkened until there is no sight. And the world shall slowly be darkened until there is no sight. And in the midst of the night, the thief shall come. Read from verse 3.
For while they supposed to lie hid in their secret sins, they were scattered under a dark veil of forgetfulness, being horribly astonished and troubled with strange apparitions.
Right. And this mirrors again Babylon today, right? Because Babylon loved to lie hid in their secret sins, man. In Israel and out of Israel. The Israelites and the worldly people, man. The Israelites in the truth, outside the truth, and the general population of the world, man. They like to lie hidden in their secret sins. Okay? And the most I tell you, the same way the Egyptian that was oppressing the Israelite was there specifically in their secret sins, trying to lie hidden, the most I strike them, right? And start to trouble them with strange visions, apparitions. They're seeing crazy things, right? Because he wanted to make a point at that time. And trust me, when Yahawashi arrive, you're gonna see the same thing. They're gonna see strange apparitions. The Most High gonna allow them to see the spirit realm, man. Not to mention, they will see the invasion of the angels, right? And we who have been changed, and the slaughter of the people around them who do not bow down and submit. So they shall also see strange things in the second Exodus, right? But we find out here a new piece of information that we didn't know before. In the first Exodus, they saw strange apparitions, and the Most High blinded them, okay? Whether it be actual blindness of the eye, which I think it was, or just darkening the places that they were. This is what fell upon them at the time. Read on.
For neither might the corner that held them keep them from fear, but noises as of waters falling down sounded about them, and sad visions appeared unto them with heavy countenances.
Right. So they're already in fear. They can't see anything, and they're hearing all these sounds around them, right? Which is terrifying them even more. And they can't see around them, but they're seeing within their vision strange apparitions. So it's like your eye is closed and you're seeing bare ghosts and goblins, and but you're still hearing. In reality, you're seeing bare ghosts and goblins and scary things, which I saw in dreams, by the way, and it's terrifying. I've seen an example of this in my dreams, the Most High showed me. And it was the absolute most terrifying dream I've ever had in my life, by far. Okay? So they're seeing these terrifying visions, and around them, they're hearing the terrifying sounds that they're used to being in Egypt of the various animals which they worshipped, growling, snarling, moving around, and they can't see a damn thing to defend themselves. So this is the fear that the Most High laid upon the Egyptian man for enslaving his people. Read.
No power of fire might give them light, neither could the bright flames of the stars endure that to lighten that horrible night.
Uh, Pause. I want to bring this out. Because what happened to the Egyptians in the Exodus mirrors what's going to happen to the spiritual Egyptians at the second coming. And the precepts show us. Watch this. Joel 2, right, which is about what's going to happen at the end, says, blow the, oh my gosh, this thing, man, this BSB. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, from verse 1, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of Yahawah cometh, for it is nigh at hand. A day of darkness and gloominess. You can't make this up, man. We're just reading about the darkness and the gloominess of the Egyptian during the first Exodus. And now we're hearing that the day of Yahawah is going to be darkness and gloominess as well. So I'm not making this up, family. A day of clouds and of thick darkness. As the morning spread upon the mountains. Wow, that's how the darkness is going to be. The same way the morning come upon the mountains, darkness is going to come upon the place. So this gives me my answer as to what it was that they were experiencing. Not blindness, but literal darkness of the place that they were. The Most High says, a great people and strong, there have not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. And of course, that's talking about Israel and Israel's allies, I believe. Certainly Israel, 100%, right? It says, a fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. Yea, and nothing shall escape them. So this is when we get our power, man, right? And we going about subjugating the world. The Most High say fire in front of us, okay? You can't beat fire, man. Too much fire dries water. I hope you know. I mean, look at the sun. In any case, and then, so that's the meaning of the flame burning in front of us. That's war, man. The Garden of Eden in front of us is what we're establishing, peace, right? But what is wicked has to die for peace to come. And behind us, a desolate wilderness, and nothing gonna escape us, man, right? And that's during the war part, okay? Nothing's gonna escape. The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen, so shall they run. It's not saying we're literally looking like horses, which I thought at a point in time. This is talking about the strength with which we will stand. Not only that, the order, right? Because this is an army, and we're going to see that as I read on. It says, like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains, shall they leap, right? This is us and the angels, because we know the angels are coming for the work too. Leaping about, man. Like it's a damn movie, man. But this ain't no movie. This is happening in real life. Because remember, we're not going to have this weak flesh. Going to be perfect in spiritual form. So these feats are nothing. Angels have gone up in fire, and angels have moved around and fanned. Angels have created completely cool places in the midst of extreme fires before, man, like they did with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. So to leap from place to place, that's nothing. It says, on the tops of mountains shall they leap, man. Okay, the thing Esau, imagine being able to leap tall buildings in a single bound with the foolishness that he come out with Superman. Um, Before and the new garbage with the Superman now. Talking about the most powerful meta-human. Bro, you imagine that, bro? The man's imagining the things that we're gonna be doing it for real. Says like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble. As a strong people set in what battle array, man? Before their faces, meaning in front of their face, the people shall be much pained. So the same heavy faces from the Exodus, man. All faces shall gather blackness. The context here, of course, being sadness, not actual people turning black. Before them, writhe in pain, all the people, for faces are drained of color. See that? Okay. That's what it means. The face is gonna gather blackness. Let's see here. Blackness, glow. Da, da, da. No. Glow with dread. Da, da, da. Dread, shock, or grief. All right, family. That's what's happening, man. Fear falling upon man. Right? So this really should be paleness, man. People get pale in the face because they so shook. Anyway, of us it says, they shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the wall like men of war. They shall march everyone in his ways, and they shall not break their ranks. Why are we not breaking ranks? Because it's an army marching against the world. That's why Revelation 11 tells, this is why Ezekiel 37 tells you that the dry bones became an exceeding great army. These are us, the children of Israel, when we wake up from the dead spiritually. So I prophesied as he commanded me. This is Ezekiel 37 and 10. And breath came into them, and they lived and stood upon their feet, an exceeding great army. You see that? And this is why when you go to Revelation, let's see. Did I put 12 here? Yes, I did. And after 3 days and a half, the Spirit of life from God entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. Who? The Israelites. Let's see here. And from here, you can precept this with Ezekiel 37, and it's the same account. The dead body shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. Okay? This is a dark sentence. Great city, Babylon, spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. We know America is spiritually known as Egypt. America leads this Babylonian kingdom. There's literally a pyramid and the Yahawah pyramid on their dollar and obelisks all over their country. I think it's even on the dollar too. And where it says our Lord was crucified, of course, they crucified Yahawashi, the true black Messiah, and gave you Satan, aka Jesus Christ, to worship, man, the Edomite man, the devil to worship, man, the image of the beast. That's the crucifixion that they crucified our Lord and gave us something else in return. And it says, and there the people and kindreds and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, that's 350 years, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. So they're going to allow you to be spiritually dead for 350 years, man, eating up Christianity and philosophy, man, and demonocracy called democracy. Okay? And they that dwell upon it shall rejoice over them. They're going to be happy that the Israelites are mashed up and make merry and shall send gifts to one another because these two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth. Which two prophets? The northern and southern kingdom of Israel. Okay. Judah and Jerusalem, or Judah and Jerusalem, also called Judah and Israel, also called Judah and Ephraim. These are the two prophets. And they're gonna rejoice and make merry. The precept for this can be found in Psalm 83, which tells you the entire world will conspire against the Negro to destroy us, man. And it has happened, right? And he says, after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from Yahawah will enter into us, which is what? The gospel, man. The word, the words of Yahawashi, the Prince. That's the spirit of life from Yahawah that he breathed into Adam. Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And then we stood up on our feet once that was done. We wanted nothing to do with Babylon. We wanted nothing to do with our enemies. We knew that we were the rightful rulers of the world as we know today. And we encouraged our people to hold the line. And we encouraged the world to humble themselves before the Most High God and his people. And great fear fell upon them which saw them, and great fear is upon all the enemies of Yahawah in this time. Chiefly the Jewish, who had a meeting in which one of their top-ranked politicians said that the biggest problem that the Jewish people had in the world was not the war that they were fighting against Hamas after the October 2nd attacks, but he said that it was the black youth in America, the young black man in America. They said that was their biggest problem. Why would the young black man with no guns, bombs, or hand grenades be the Jewish man's biggest problem? Well, it's because the young black man is the only one telling the world that you're not the real Jews, man. That's why, you know. And all praise to the Most High. Recently, my daughter, one of my daughters, my big one, um, showed me where this model, this Islamic model, Palestinian model, sorry, her father posted one of the AI created memes that we had circulating in the community that shows the Edomite, all right, the synagogue of Satan, and says Jewish, and then it posted Jacob, the so-called Negro, and said real Jew, man. So the people of the world are beginning to realize who is who. Now, will they humble themselves before Yahawah before that fateful day? Perhaps. Some certainly will, but most will not. So the point being this, the faces of the Egyptians gathered blackness in that day, or there was darkness upon them in that day, and they were terrified. And the same thing is going to happen when the judgment of Yahawah arrives via Yahawashi, the prince. Okay? So this is a foreshadowing, pardon the pun, of the darkness to come upon the world before the light shines forth, right? And the day breaks and truth gets to rule again, right? Because pursuant to Second Esdras again, chapter 11, the Most High says of the eagle, he has not ruled the world in truth. And we certainly know this to be fact, right? That's why there's whistleblowers. That's why all this information was hid from us. That's why you can literally read a description on Wikipedia that tells you a certain woman in Europe, royal woman in Europe, was called Bernice the Black, I think she was called. You read, it says Bernice the Black, and it says she was called black because she was black, and yet they put a picture of an Edomite next to her. No, this is not her. The name was not Bernice. I don't remember the name. You can look up this guy Kurimeo. Let me just put his channel up so you can see. Go check out his channel and check out his videos on the whitewashed royals. Okay, this brother here. There we go. This video right here. Black Royals and Nobles Invasion of the Body Snatchers Whitewashed History Kirkland Files. All right, so you can watch that and you can learn about the various Negroes that are described as such, even on Wikipedia pages. But yet they put up an image of an Edomite, man. This deceiver is so brazen, it's not even funny because he has been able to, through misdirection, keep so much of the world stupid and apathetic that he can just put the truth right in your face and you'll never go read it. You're just gonna keep scrolling on your TikTok or your Instagram, and you gotta take that as truth, man. Right? And for the elders, you're just gonna watch cable and think that everything you've been told is true, man. And that's it. You're not gonna do any research when the Most High says it's a damn fool that live like that. The fool believe every word, right? But the wise look well to their going. Meaning what, man? They double check, man, to see if you're telling them a bunch of garbage, right? I digress. So darkness fell upon the Egyptian, as it shall fall upon our enemies in the judgment. Um, read on 5.
I already read 5.
Read it again, please.
No power of the fire might give them light, neither could the bright flame of the stars endure to lighten that horrible night.
Pause. So the Most High said not even fire could have give them light, that darkness that he put upon them. The stars couldn't give them any light either. He clouded them in darkness, man, and allowed them to see apparitions, spirits, right? To terrify them and terrorize them. And then had the same animals that they were worshiping terrorizing them as well, with noise of growling and stalking and such, as we will see as we read on. Um, go ahead, Sister Kira. from verse 6.
Only there appeared unto them a fire kindled of itself, very dreadful. For being much terrified, they thought the things which they saw be worse than the sight they saw not.
Pause. So when the Most High started to show them things, the things they were seeing was worse than the things that they were hearing. Right? Read on.
As for the illusions of art, magic,
Art
magic,
magic. Hmm.
they were put down, and their vaunting in wisdom was reproved with disgrace.
Pause. What illusions of art magic? Now you find out how they were able to do the snake into the staff. It was an illusion, man. So these Egyptians were able to do illusions, man. Just like a magician today. It looks like magic, but it's just a damn illusion. So the Most I say, well, when these things came upon them, yeah, the illusions that they um put forth with their art, their art magic, he trampled upon that. Okay, and all the wisdom they claimed they had, the priests of the Egyptians, he corrected it with disgrace. All right, read 8.
For they that promised to drive away terrors and troubles from a sick soul were sick themselves of fear, worthy to be laughed at.
Pause. Right? So this is their healers and they're magicians, man. Say, no, don't worry, we got you. Well, they couldn't do a damn thing, right? And Solomon says, yo, they were worthy to be laughed at, man. Now, if you preach that in the Christian church today or in any religious establishment today, they're gonna say you're heartless and you're wicked and all these things, man. But our ancestors don't give a damn about people's opinions, man. We never did. It's only when we got our minds destroyed by slavery that we start to care about people's opinion, man. And some of us still don't. All praise to the Most High, right? That's some of his favorite people, right? This brother stated the facts. These guys say they can heal people and they themselves sick. And you say, yo, that's a laughable, bro. And he's right. And I certainly would have laughed if I was there and say, so how come you can't heal yourself from these boils, fam? I thought you were the doctor. Oh, what's happening to you? And look, I don't have a single boil on me, right? Go ask Imhotep or Ra to help you, man. Go pray to Isis and ask Isis for help. Ask Isis to remove the darkness from your eyes, right? Read on.
For though no terrible thing did fear them, yet being scared with beasts that passed by, and hissing of serpents, they died for fear, denying that they saw the air, which could of no side be avoided.
All right. So you see what I was telling you guys? Um, the sounds of the beasts that before, they could see where the beast was and just kind of relax, say, okay, we're good. They could see where their spear was to grab it quick if they needed to against the beast. They could push the serpent out, but now they're hearing the sound and they have no idea where these things are and they can't see a damn thing, right? The brother said they're dying of fear being in these kinds of conditions. right? 11.
For wickedness condemned by her own witness is very timorous, and being pressed with conscience, always forecasteth grievous things.
Right. So let's look up this word timorous. So wickedness is condemned by its own witness. So if you know you're doing a wrong thing, then you're gonna expect punishment, man. You're gonna expect bad things to happen to you. That's what Solomon is saying here, right? They're getting judged by their own wickedness, right? They don't have confidence in Yahawah. So when they hear the hissing and the growling and the passing by of the animals, they're dead for fear because they have no comfort in their own gods that they have made with their own hands that they claim are greater than Yahawah. When faced with trials, they fail, right? Because remember, their hope is in the flesh, preparedness, readiness. Well, when you can't see and you can't even light a fire, there's no preparedness or readiness. There's only faith. When the bombs are dropping, there's no preparedness or readiness. There's only faith. When the earthquakes are quaking, there's no preparedness or readiness. There's only faith. When the whirlwind is destroying the city and the suburb, there's no preparedness. There's only faith. Timorous, showing or suffering from nervousness. Huh. So, uh, doing wickedness make you very nervous before the Most High. And Paul actually substantiates this because look at the confidence with which Paul stands before the Most High. Second Timothy 4. For I am now ready to be offered, and the time of my departure is at hand. I have fought the good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. Okay? And then the brother says, henceforth there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which Yahawah, the righteous judge, shall give me at that day, and not me only, but unto all them also that love his appearing, man. That's confidence. So if you walk in the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, you can stand with confidence before the Most High. You don't have to be nervous because your sins gonna witness against you and betray you, showing that you're indeed a sinner and not a righteous person. If you're walking in righteousness, hey, your crown shall await you. You have run the race, right? You have what did brother say? I've finished the race. I fought the good fight, man. Look what the brother said. I finished my course, man. I kept the faith. All right? And because I did that, there's a crown of righteousness. Okay? That the Lord is ready to give me on that day. And actually the Lord here that's gonna give according to the precepts is Yahawashi, because Yahawashi places golden crowns upon the heads of all the faithful, right? In Revelation, in the book of Revelation. So these people are on the opposite end of the scale. They have no confidence because they have no righteousness. And what are they expecting? Bad things to happen. And if a person is not doing righteousness, this verse shows you they're always expecting bad things to happen. That's why the scriptures say, let every man work out his salvation with fear and trembling. Where's the fear and trembling supposed to come from? It's at the beginning. You fear and tremble before the word of the Most High, ensuring that you're running the race and attaining the prize, dotting your I's and crossing your T's. And then you can sit and watch the paper that you have wrote for Yahawah and say, this paper is perfect. I'm going to pass. In fact, I passed already. What you have on the book there, I copied the thing exactly. And that's how Yahawah do his thing. No one that do righteousness is going to be cast forth from the presence of Yahawah. It's not going to happen. He said he's going to sift the world through the sieve of vanity. And then he says in another place, not a single grain gonna fall to the ground. So if you're a grain, if you're a sheep, you have no chance of falling to the ground. It's not going to happen. Why? Because you're gonna finish the race. You're gonna finish your course. You're gonna fight the good fight. You're gonna keep the faith. And that's how you're gonna guarantee your place. These Egyptians had none of that. So fear was upon them. Dread was upon them. Right? Read on. 12. And this is 12 is awesome. 12 is summing up what I've just said. Read on.
For fear is nothing else but a betraying of succors which reason offereth.
Pause. The man tell you straight up, fear is nothing else but the betraying of the safety. That's what succor mean. Fear is the betraying of the safety which reason offereth. Which reason? Oh, I'm a reasonable person, and so I don't have any fear. A la After Earth with Will Smith and Jada, I think his name, Jaden Smith. That's not what it's talking about. It's not talking about, oh, I'm a reasonable person, and I know scientifically that if I do this, then that's not what it's talking about. Okay? The beginning of knowledge is the fear of the Most High. The fear of the Creator. That's the beginning of reason. So if you're fearful of death, it's because you have not yet arrived at reasoning. You don't know anything. You don't have any spiritual knowledge. You don't know nor to keep spiritual law. So you're afraid to die. If you're not afraid to die, the opposite is true. You stand before the Most High in confidence because this is what Paul was about to face, death. And said, yeah, I finished the work still. Like, let these guys come and do what they have to do, man. I'm good. I'll see them again, and next time it's not gonna be pretty when I see them. And the man gone to take his death. We've seen children in the Bible take their death braver than grown men because of the confidence they have before Yahawah, man. Right? We saw a mother and 7 sons, die manfully because of the safety that they had in the arms of the Creator. The youngest took the worst death because he gave the damn Edomite his business, man, and the Edomite torture him worse, even though he was trying to let him go. Cut out his tongue, skin him. You gotta read the account. If anyone remembers exactly where that account is, please post it. I believe it's in the book of Maccabees. I believe it's First Maccabees or Second Maccabees 7. Right. So fear is nothing else but the a betraying of the safety that reason or righteousness offers, man. Right. Read on 13.
And the expectation from within, being less, counteth the ignorance more than the cause which bringeth the torment.
Read that again.
And the expectation from within, being less, counteth the ignorance more than the cause which bringeth the torment.
All right. So again, because they're condemned by their own unrighteousness, right? Um, not knowing what's happening around them is more torturous than the actual thing that's bringing the torture. So not knowing where the snake coming from to bite you is more torturous than the snake actually biting you when you fear to die, you know. And we see this in the world today. Everybody's tough until it's time to close their eyes. Then you see the hardest criminals break down. You see the coldest people ask God for forgiveness. You see atheists talk about God when it's time to take their last breath, man. And the same way it happened to the Egyptians then, it's going to happen to the new Egyptians. Read on. Was that 5? Ben, you read 5, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, Sister Kira, I think we got you a lot more than 5. That's fine. Let's see. Ruth, thank you, Sister Kira. Ruth, let's get 5 out of you there. Ruth, Ruth,
Yes,
go from 13.
and
Oh,
it's
sorry, go from 14.
but they sleeping the same sleep at that night, which was indeed intolerable,
Intolerable, yeah.
and which came upon them out of the bottoms of inventable hell.
Inevitable, okay? Inevitable. Inevitable hell. You gotta break the words down to smaller syllables. Don't just say whatever. Inevitable hell. Okay, which means unavoidable hell. Read.
Were partly vexed with monstrous apparitions,
No, you're not breaking the word down. Come on.
apparitions,
Apparitions, that's right.
and partly fainted. Their heart befalling them for sudden fear, and not looked for came upon them.
Pause. So even their sleep, right, was disturbed, right? This is new information that we didn't get in the other Exodus. They were being tormented in their sleep by monstrous apparitions, man. And family, before I read this scripture, this is exactly what happened in my dream. What was happening was I was bent over, okay, knelt over like somebody was pushing my head down. And when I looked down, it was complete blackness except for other people I could see in the same position as me. And I could just hear just terrified shrieks and screaming, like people freaking out basically. And um what was happening as I was seeing this was in my distant vision. But in my close vision, I was just getting the most terror, the things that I was afraid of most in life were coming directly at me. Okay, one after the other. So say I was afraid of spiders, right? I would see like a ghostly looking like spider like just coming at me, about to bite me. And then as it sink its teeth in to bite me, another uh terrible vision would come. And that would like say it was getting my arm chopped off. So I would like see like the saw coming to chop off my arm, and as I brace for the terror, then another vision, and that's what was happening. Okay. Um so that's funny. Like before I read this scripture, this is what I saw in my dream, what I just described to you guys. And as we're reading this here, we're reading about monstrous apparitions, which is literally was what I was seeing in my dream. Okay. Were preventing the Egyptians from getting a good night's sleep. Okay. They were partly vexed with monstrous apparitions, and they were partly fainted from what? The fear of these creatures all around them that they couldn't see but they could hear. Their mind was failing them, man. They didn't know what the hell to do. And certainly couldn't relax, right? They were just terrified, family, which is what I told you guys happened to me in that dream, right? And then he says, for a sudden fear and not looked for came upon them, right? So when the Most High bring fear upon you, it's real, man. It's real. Because I was really actually terrified in that dream. So much so that I tried to lift my head up because I'm like, this is terrible. So I tried to lift my head up, and it's like someone or something was keeping my head down, so I couldn't lift my head up. And then I cried out and I said, Father, help me, as I'm trying to force to get up. And then I got up from the dream, right? And I was like, whoa, that was horrible, right? Um, Literally felt like my heart was gonna burst. That's how much terror that I was in. So I can relate, the Most High allowed me to see this, what I believe was this very thing, in my vision, man, in a night vision, in a dream, actually, right? So sudden fear came upon the Egyptian. Read on. 16.
So then whosoever fell down was straightly kept
Pause, pause, pause. Take your time and don't skip the words, please.
fell down was
Start from the beginning of 16 again.
So then whosoever fell down was
Pause. There should be the word there. Whosoever there fell down. Do you see that word?
yes.
Please read the words. Go ahead.
So then whosoever there fell down was
Straightly.
straightly kept shut up in a prison without iron bars.
Right. So you see how the Most High imprisoned them and paralyzed them with fear, man. That's what he did to the Egyptian. Read.
For whether he were husband husbandman or shepherd or
Laborer.
laborer in the field, he was overtaken
With
and
fear. With fear. Go ahead.
with fear
No, no, no,
and
no, no. I'm just explaining to people that what they were overtaken with was fear, right? And that's what's gonna happen again. The faces shall be much pained. Remember the Most High said that. All faces shall gather paleness, right? A ghostly appearance from dread, family. Read on. He was overtaken.
overtaken and endured
Mm-hmm.
that necessity necessity
Ne,
necess necessity
that's right, necessity, which is something that is necessary, something that has to happen, needed, something that is needed. Okay? And they endured that necessity, right? The Most High said it was necessary that he paralyzed the Egyptian with fear, man. And the same goes for the Babylonian and the wicked Israelite, right? Read, which,
which could not be avoided, for
mm-hmm,
they were all bound with one chain of darkness.
they were all bound with one chain of darkness. Thank you. Ben, finish up. Give me from 18, please.
Whether it were a whistling wind or a melodious noise of birds among the spreading branches, or a pleasing fall of water running violently, or a terrible sound of stones cast down, or a running that could not be seen as of skipping bees,
Mm-hmm.
or a roaring voice of most savage wild beasts, or a rebounding echo from the hollow mountains. These things made them to swoon for fear.
Right. These things made them to swoon for fear, man. They got weak because they can't see nothing and hearing all these beasts, man. They don't know where the beast is, if it's coming to eat them or bite them or not, as I said before. Read.
For the whole world shined with clear light, and none were hindered in their labor.
Pause.
Over them,
Actually, hmm. When it says the whole will shine with clear light and none were hindered in their labor, right? It says, read on.
only them, over them only was spread with heavy night, an image of that darkness which should afterward receive them. But yet were they unto themselves more grievous than the darkness.
Yet were they unto themselves more grievous than the darkness. So the Most High says here, and this is an interesting scripture to note. You can put this right by your John 3:16. For God so loved the world. Because right here it says the whole world shined with clear light, and none were hindered in their labor, and over the Egyptian only was spread heavy night. Okay. Now, which world was this talking about? The whole world or some other world? Um, let's see if we'll get a bit of a sense here. Um, read.
Nevertheless, thy saints had a very great light, whose voice they hearing, and not seeing their shape, because they also had not suffered the same things. They counted them happy.
So the Most High said the whole world had light. And then 2 verses after, he lets you know what world that he was talking about, man. Because remember, Hebrews chapter 1 and verse 2 tell you the Most High made worlds, worlds, right? See if I can get that here. Um, right here. So I'll go from 1. God, who had sundry times and in diverse manners spake in times past unto the fathers by the prophets. So the Most High spoke to who? The Israelite fathers, by who? The Israelite prophets. Have in these last days spoken unto us, who? The Israelites, man, by his Son, who he had appointed heir of all things, by whom also he made the worlds. See that? The Most High made worlds. Okay. And right back here in Wisdom of Solomon, so you can add that to your precepts in your Bible. He says back here in 17, the whole world shined with clear light, and none were hindered in their labor. And over them, meaning the Egyptians alone, was spread a heavy night. So is it the whole world? Well, no. How do we know? He says, thy saints had a very great light, whose voice they hearing and not seeing their shape, because they also had not suffered the same things, they counted them happy. What does that mean? The Egyptians were hearing the voices of the Israelites, were not able to see the Israelites, because the Israelites had not suffered the same things as them. And the Egyptians counted the Israelites happy. Who had a very great light? The saints of the Most High. Okay, so you can put that 17, I think it's 20, with this 18:1, and then you can go to Psalm, so 148. Oops. To see who the saints are. 148:14. He also exalted the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints. Who the saints are? Even the children of Israel, a people near unto him. Praise ye Yahawah. All right. So with these 3 scriptures, you should be able to easily show who the world is. Okay. That the Most High is referring to in this particular thing. And you can easily break down who the world in John 3:16 is talking about. All right. So that's just for your information. All right. So we're going to wrap up there. For those who are on the line, just wait on the line. We'll pray out and we'll blow the trumpet. And for those who are just watching this video later on, thanks for watching. If you want to learn how to obey and follow the true black God of the universe, whose name is Yahawah, he's written of in the Bible. If you'd like to know how to please him, keep following our channel, keep watching these videos, and better yet, hop in the class and ask the hard questions, right? After after class is done, you can ask the hard questions, but I mean, throw the hard questions in the comments, get the information that you need so that you can do the right thing, right? And to the oppressor, the Most High has reserved for you death and destruction, and you shall surely have it at his hand, right? And with that, let me just stop the broadcast, and then we can pray out.